Welcome, everyone. I request everyone to please keep their cameras on. Also, please rename your Zoom accounts. Welcome, Dr. Nikki.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, you just need to rename your Zoom account. No, you're not audible. You just need to unmute yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. My name Thu. I'm from Vietnam. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Welcome to the conference. Dr. Nikki, can you introduce yourself to us?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Nikki Katapan. I am the Assistant Professor of Instructional Technology and Instructional Designer at Augustana University in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm here to present a little poster. It's a side project of my research. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you so much for your lovely introduction. And ma'am Thikem, can you introduce yourself to us?
What? Sorry, repeat that. Repeat.
You just need to introduce yourself.
My name Trần Thị Kiểm Thu. I'm lecturer in Cần Thơ University. I'm work in School of Education.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for your lovely introduction. We'll be just starting the conference in a while. Let just everybody join in. Dr. Nikki, so how's the weather at your side?
I am in London right now, actually. It is pretty nice out here. It's 6:30 a.m. in the morning. It's really lovely outside.
All right. Thank you. Hello, Adam sir. Can you hear us? Okay, he might be facing some glitches. Adam sir, can you hear us?
Yes. I can hear you talk. Sorry. Wait for me a minute.
All right, ma'am. Ma'am, we can hear you.
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
All right, then we'll just start the conference now. Welcome to the Eurasia Live International Conference. Today we have presentation and participants from 8 countries around the world. Countries are Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Poland, Nigeria, USA, India. We are broadcasting this conference on Facebook Live on multiple pages of Eurasia Research. The links for the live session are shared in the chat box. Today we have these many participants who would be participating in our conference. Please allow me a moment to introduce Eurasia Research to you in a nutshell. With over more than 1 million satisfied members and associates spread across the globe, Eurasia Research is a scholarly association who have been working for nearly a decade. Eurasia Research has organized several successful international conferences, workshops, and training programs at various reputed institutions and grand venues. Eurasia has been tirelessly working for the research world and have not stopped their endeavor even during the COVID era and have presented research community with online platform which was safe and convenient method to continue their passion. We are an international community of researchers, practitioners, students, and educationists who aim to bring together worldwide researchers and professionals, encourage intellectual development, and to create opportunities for networking and collaboration. These objectives are achieved through academic networking, meetings, conferences, workshops, projects, research publication, academic awards, and scholarship. We provide scholarship to deserving candidates to promote students and research scholars to participate in the international conference. Young Researcher Scholarship is provided in the form of full registration fee waiver. We have vast experience of publishing paper for more than 7 years. Our associated journals publishing original papers, review papers, conceptual framework, analytical and simulation models, case studies, empirical research, technical notes, and book reviews. We cater to more than 30 plus themes in the area of teaching and education and have registered ISSN and have following re-owned indexing, Google Scholar, cross-check, authenticate, cross-ref, the Keeper's Registry, Script, Portico, Road, Directory of Open Access Scholarly Resources, OAI, PMH Registered Data Provider, PKP Index. We will soon be applying for Scoopers too. We have a wide network of 100 plus internationally acclaimed keynotes across the globe who share their knowledge and guidance with our participants with open hands. We have a large number of committee members and advisors who support us and guide us through their expert opinions and decision-making capabilities. We couldn't have thought of reaching here without them. We also encourage our participants to connect with more than 15K plus followers on our social media platform where they can share their research and interest, join our Facebook group and be a part of the discussion by researchers and academicians. We also have several collaborations with universities, colleges, and institutes to better serve all interested and like-minded intellectuals. With a great enthusiasm and pride, we would like to announce our latest project, which is Terra Fellow Program in Education. The program offers an opportunity to learn key concepts and latest trends in the teaching industry for the academic stalwarts. We would like to share some of our past participants' experiences with you. Thank you for your patience and valuable time. Moving forward with the conference. Hello everyone, my name is Ritika Gupta and I'm today's conference host. So today we have our Terra President, Dr. Lynn Shelley, Dean of Graduate and Professional Studies, LaSalle University, Newton, MA, United States. Let's just see what she needs to say.
Hello, my name is Dr. Lynn Shelley, and I'm the Dean of Graduate and Professional Studies at LaSalle University in Newton, Massachusetts, United States of America. I'm proud to be coming to you and bringing you this video on behalf of Eurasia Research and Terra, Teaching and Education Research Association. I have been a privileged member of this association for many years, as a participant, as a speaker, as a keynote speaker, as a peer reviewer, as the president of the advisory board. I'm here to welcome you and encourage you to participate in this wonderful organization. Membership has its privileges for this organization. You meet wonderful, diverse people from all over the world that bring new and creative, innovative, and entrepreneurial perspectives in teaching and educational research. Terra is a wonderful place to be as a participant. I encourage you to join and become a member. I also encourage you to submit proposals to do breakout sessions. They are the most valuable and rewarding professional experience you could ever have. As importantly, Eurasia Terra does organize their conferences, both virtual and in person, in such a way where you get to know people personally, know their work, know their research, and get to know them as people, which is most important in our business, relationships. It has expanded my horizons, expanded my professional growth and development, and I continue to look forward to being part of this wonderful organization. Part of attending a conference in person, whether you're a participant or you're an observer, you get to interface and interact on social levels as well as academic levels with everyone involved. We stay in touch after conferences. We share research. We help one another become better at what we do, become better in our educational professions, become better in our research. Again, membership has its privileges. The networking is amazing. Expanding your skill set is amazing. It keeps you in the growth mindset, which we always should be in as educators. And every conference, as I said, has a variety of perspectives that it brings for every person in attendance, no matter what role you have. You will find many pearls of wisdom that you can bring back to your own work and apply immediately. So I encourage you to get in touch with me if you wish at Lynne, LYNNECELLI @gmail.com with any questions. And I also encourage you to visit the website so that you may be able to see exactly not only the professional growth we have, but such fun we have with the relationship building. I look forward to seeing you at another conference and a new conference, and hopefully meeting you personally and professionally.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lynne Shelley, for your wonderful words. Moving ahead with the conference. Next up, we have our eminent speaker, Dryal Albright Douglas John, Department of English, Language, B. Tong Vocational College, Sarawak, Malaysia. Let's just see what he needs to say.
My name is Daryl Albright Douglas John. You can call me Daryl. I am a teacher in Bukit Vocational College, where over here we teach vocational subjects such as automotive, welding, culinary arts, accounting, and another 4 more subjects. Over here we also have several subjects such as English academics, so I am one of the lecturers teaching English. Nice. And our students here range from the age of 16 until 19 years old, where we offer them diploma after they graduate the college. Of course, because I've been to both, I do prefer physical conference, but we're talking about times of uncertainty, and we're talking about times where we don't know what's going to happen in another country, and especially in times of pandemic, where we have threats in terms of in terms of diseases and whatnot. So online conferences is the way to go. But in the future, I hope that we can all gather around and have academic discourse and share our personal values on education. Yes, I would like to encourage them, because versus the conventional method of having the conference physically, having the conference online, that means they can do it at the comfort of their houses, their offices, or wherever they are, and delivering the academic research and also sharing the thoughts on academic subjects, also topics. Of course, when we talk about online, right, it's much cheaper, much more accessible for everyone. So we can encourage, a lot of people to just share their opinions on whatever things that they have in the country, so that we can learn together. So I'll suggest them to do so. Why not?
Thank you, and thank you.
Positive feedback is I get to actually understand the academic situation in other countries. That day was Romania, and also some from other countries as well. So I discovered that the problem that we encountered in Malaysia is also the same as in other countries, such as internet connectivity, such as also maybe English language proficiency. So that is something that I learned, and also they suggest new ways how to tackle that problem, so I can adapt that to my classroom or to my other colleagues over here. Have a good day to you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much, Royal, for your wonderful words. Moving ahead with the conference. Next up, we have our next eminent speaker, Dan Popescu, Department of Management, Faculty of Management, the Bucharest University of Economic Studies, Bucharest, Romania. Let's just see what he needs to say.
Okay, I'm a professor, a PhD at the Bucharest University of Economic Studies. It's a management department, and I'm very, very glad to participate from 2 years to your international conferences organized by TERA. About the conferences, I must say it's not your last conference, for example, is the recent conference from Lisbon. So looking at my intervention, is online a better option in the post-pandemic era? I can give my personal answer. I think it's not a better option, but it's an option, because we can't replace the live contact face-to-face with the online one. Yes, of course, not only that I suggest, but also I brought to become members of TERA, if I well remember, 5 of my colleagues, and they became the members of TERA, and we are very, very honored about this. First of all, the most important, I think, it was the fact that we knew colleagues from anywhere, and especially from your region. And this was very, very important, because we saw also your mind open to friendship, to collaborative research, and this is really very, very important. Thank you very much also, and from all my heart, for your opening. It's very, very
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Dan sir, for your wonderful words. Moving ahead, now we have our conference schedule. So session 1 will be our keynote talk. Session 2 will be a team activity and photo session. Session 3 will be a technical talk. Also, I just request everyone to please rename your Zoom account with your full name in English. This will help us to record your presence. You may ask your question related to the presentation in the chat section while the presentations are going on. All the certificates, receipts, and proceedings will be sent to the participants within a week on their mail ID. The proceedings will be include all the full paper and abstract excepted for the conference. Next up, we have our publication process. The publication process starts once the registration process is complete. The author needs to send their papers, consent forms, and reviewer details on the email ID, that is convener@eurasiaresearch.info. The review reports will be sent to the author once the review process is over. The final stage of publication starts after receiving the revised papers from the authors. Please note that publication process takes around 50 days after the conference date if all the editorial guidelines are followed within the given deadlines. Moving ahead, next up, we have our first keynote speaker of the day, Dr. Kanlaya, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Prince of Songkhla University, Patani campus, Patani, Thailand. Her topic is post-COVID affected the orphans, the Deep South. Assistant Professor Dr. Kanlaya, she was the former president of the social work curriculum at Prince of Songkhla University, Thailand. She graduated doctoral degree in social science in social work in University Utara, Malaysia. She works with civic women at Prince of University in rehabilitate women and respect human dignity. And she works with Coordination Center for Children and Women in Southern Borden provinces. The situation of the children and women in the southern border province has occurred for a long time. It affected the women and the women in the southern border provinces to participate in civil society. There are more than 100 organizations in various dimensions to heal human rights, construct peace, communicate for understanding, promote careers, education, and etc. She is the Vice President of the Teaching Education Research and Association, TERA, and also she is the peer reviewer for Thaijo and other publication in Thailand and international papers. Papers made scholar from Thailand and abroad mention her research special award. She received the award, the Specialist of Social Work from the Faculty of Humanities and Social Science Prince of University and an award from Prince of Songlikha Patani campus. Award of Outstanding Alumni of Faculty of Social Administration University in January 2022 and Thammasat University June 2022 and Global Research and Development Service. Kalaya ma'am, you can now just give your presentation. Welcome ma'am, can you hear us? Ma'am, you just need to unmute us. Yeah.
I send for you. Please,
Ma'am,
yeah. Please show my links together, okay, to all of them.
you need to unmute yourself. I can't hear you. Yes. Mom, can you hear me?
Okay, I sent to the Eurasia Research five days ago. Yes, the link. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Let me just check it.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, ma'am. So sorry for the inconvenience. Ma'am, actually, we are facing some glitches with your video. So, ma'am, I just request you to please just play it from your side. You can just simply share your screen and you can just play your video.
What's happened? Because I sent to you 5 days ago.
Yes, ma'am, but there's some issue with the video.
Yeah. Wait, I wait. Yeah, thank you.
All right, ma'am. So I just request you to present it live. But what we'll do, I'll just get the another one right now, and you can just prepare your live video. Okay? Will that be fine? You can just present it live.
Because I have a journey. You have I have already sent you. You please check again.
All right, ma'am. Just give us some time. Okay?
Yeah.
Dr. Kanaya, can you hear me? Ma'am, can you just send your video again? Ma'am, you just need to unmute yourself. Ma'am, you're not audible. All right, then we'll just move forward. We have our next keynote speaker of the day, Dr. Jose Elmar, University of Mindanao, Tagum City, and Philippines. Topic is Educator Insight Facing COVID-19 Resiliency Among Teachers in the Philippines. Dr. Jose, officer is the College of Graduate Schools, professor at the University of Mindanao, Tagum branch. He has been teaching English, linguistics, and literature for 15 years in the said institution. He is an active researcher of LGBTQ plus topics and is considered to be one of the prime movers for the inclusivity of gay teachers in the academy, which lead him to be awarded the Pride Excellence Award for his research in morpho-semantic analysis of gay lingo, given by the city government of Tagum. He is a peer reviewer and consultant for the research in various institutions in the region. He was invited to be the chief speaker of Australia International Model United Nations and delivered a topic on the value of research and international diplomacy. He is published author of books in communicative English and Philip literature, and once served as one of the lead auditors for ISO 1901-2015 in school until 2019. Let's just see his video.
My warmest greetings to the participants of this research conference by Eurasia, and also to the members of the Teaching and Education Research Association, or TERA. So to the participants, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because we have different timelines in the different parts of the world. So I am expressing a gratitude to the invitation extended to me by Dr. Charles to give you my topic on a very relevant issue right now in our academic community. So if I may share my slide. Okay. By the way, I am Dr. Jose Elmer Officiar from the Philippines. I've been teaching in our institution, the University of Mindanao Tagum branch, for 13 years. And out of my experience as a teacher, last year and progressing until now is one of the most challenging, actually. It's a very unique experience that I had. So my topic actually for today that I'm going to share to you is teaching during the pandemic, insights of educational resiliency facing COVID-19. This is somewhat of a very unique topic, I should say, because this is very unconventional on the types of presentations that we had in a research conference. I opted to present this because I felt that there's a need that I need to share things based on my experience as a teacher, particularly in the Philippines, during the crisis which impacted the world. So later on, I'll be giving you some insights, the experiences of teachers like me in my country, and how we face COVID-19, the pandemic, the lockdown, until this very day. So before, based on the pictures, we have enjoyed a lot about life. We enjoyed going to parties, traveling, going to salons, as what I have presented here, and also having our leisure time. So these are the things that we enjoy before everything changes. And it does. This is the day our world changes. It's the news about COVID-19 started in the last part of December in China, wherein there are cases of a virus that time that they had said it, and then it erupted globally, and it affected very individuals, many individuals, and in some parts of the world more devastating. Here in the Philippines, since we are somewhat closer to proximity in terms of distance to China, we are very much alarmed because before we have endured somewhat crisis level of viruses like the SARS and the AH1N1, but this one is something that is very new to us. And then every day became a scene of fear and anxiety. This actually happened in January, wherein cases erupted in Wuhan, China. And then we've seen in the news some horrific, I should say, horrific scenes of people dying on the streets. These are things that are so alarming, and we are praying for China that time that they can be able to overcome this. And never in our mind that it will lead to what it is right now. It would lead to a lockdown and it will become a pandemic. What we have seen on these pictures are some of the recounts, some of the things that we see that is happening in China. Well, everything is a scene of fear. Everyone is so alarmed. All governments in the world are really alarmed on what is happening back then. And then the world is on hold. In the Philippines, this happened in March 16. Okay? And I really could not forget the date. And during this time, the world is on lockdown. Majority of the countries have declared for a lockdown because of the rise of cases of COVID-19. And everyone is so uncertain. And in the Philippines, yeah, it happened March 16. I really could not forget the date because 2 days prior to that, actually 3 days prior to that, that's March 13, we still had our classes. And in my institution, the local government really opted to force us to stop our classes because back then people are so stubborn. We really do not know whether it's true, whether is it really here. We only have few cases in the capital, in the nation's capital, in Manila. And then travel became so difficult, especially in the domestic travel. And that time, March 16, marks a very devastating day for us in the Philippines because that's the time that the entire country declared for a lockdown. And people are really stunned and they're still in doubts, and they're thinking that this would last for only 14 days or for a month or so. And then days became months, and months became a year, and the uncertainty became so much significant, and it really impacted a lot of people. The first 14 days is somewhat an experience, I should say, because families were able to bond again. Parents have now time to spend with their children because they are working at home. In my case, since I'm living alone in my house, so I spent the lockdown alone. And the worst thing is, during March 16, the first schedule of the lockdown, I was one of those who were under the person under monitoring because I was exposed to a person who went to the nation's capital. And during that time, the protocol dictates that all those who were exposed to persons who got positive should stay at home and they'll be monitored. And my experience for the first 14 days is full of anxiety, full of fear, because I don't know if I have contracted the virus. Although I had symptoms, I had a severe cold and I have very bad headache, and I was advised just to stay at home. And that time, the swab tests were not available in certain countries, and in the Philippines, it's not an excuse. And we still don't have that access to the swab test. And what I had experienced is I'm like thinking in a blank, like I don't know what is happening. Am I really having these symptoms? Am I there? I don't know. So it's full of uncertainty in the first 14 days. And luckily, after the 3 days of my symptoms, it subsided, and I was declared to be negative during that time. And yes, the waiting and the uncertainty is real. Like everyone is questioning when will it stop and when will we be open again. And in the case of the Philippines, it started in March 16 and it reopened in the end of May, the first week of June. So there are 2.5 months of grueling thinking of what is happening. Will there be jobs? And I heard in some people they received emails that they were laid off because of businesses, businesses that were shutting down because of the lockdown. It really impacted the economy. And in the case of the academe, in our case, during these 2.5 months, we were tasked to make our instruction materials in preparation for the online class. So like modules, we're making modules because the mandate that time is blended learning for college education, for higher education. And for DepEd, they're also making up modules for students, for elementary and high school. The challenge of reopening, this happened actually in the first week of June. And it is a challenge because everyone is so excited to go out, but there are limitations. The only establishments that were open during the reopening are actually the pharmacies and groceries, nothing more. Okay? The restaurants open just after that, like weeks after the reopening. So it's quite challenging for those who still have jobs and they need to go on running errands for their duties in their jobs. And people are lining up, people are wearing masks, shields, face shields. In the Philippines, very unique because aside from wearing masks, we are really required to wear face shields when we go to establishments, when we enter establishments. But in my talk, I have given you like an overview of the pandemic. But today's talk is about a journey. It's about my experience as a teacher and my self-realization about this situation. During the time of the pandemic, during those first months, my research team actually conducted a simple qualitative research. We interviewed some teachers on their experiences and the challenges that they have faced during the COVID-19. What are the lessons that they have learned as teachers, as human beings, facing this crisis? So it is a journey because I felt that this is something that is relevant, that I really need to share. I opted to make this talk, this presentation as it is. For some, maybe it's simple, but I felt that there's a need for our voices to be heard, and the unique experiences in the Philippines should be heard by the international community to know how we face COVID-19, how we show our resiliency. Being resilient is a unique character for Filipinos. We've always faced year after year challenges. We've faced typhoons every year, many typhoons every year. Earthquakes, in fact, because we are in the Ring of Fire, Pacific Ring of Fire. So we have endured all this, and it made our character so resilient. And I felt that during this unique crisis, the pandemic of COVID-19, there's a need for me to share that. Okay. So it started during the lockdown when we sent our students to homes. And it is during this time that it is still a challenge because in our institution, most of our students are living from the provinces. So Tagum City is a capital of a province. It's like a prefecture. It's like a region. It's like a district. In some countries, it's like that. So this is a melting pot of schools, of institutions where students go for college education. And during the time of the pandemic, we are compelled to really send our students to go home. So it happened in March 13. And students going home during the lockdown is a scene, I should say. If you look at the pictures, these are pictures taken from different parts of the Philippines during the time of the first implementation of the lockdown in March 16. But in March 13, students are already traveling. That's Friday. And the weekends, like Saturdays and Sundays, this is the scene of the bus terminals, the airports, wherein many people are going home. If you notice, there are no social distancing that is happening, and there's a risk for the virus to spread. And it did. It did eventually. After how many days? It showed that because of this scenario, because of this situation, it really increased the number of positive individuals of the virus. Then after that, module making also became a challenge. In the Department of Education, the Department of Education actually oversees the elementary and the secondary education sector. For the college and tertiary education, we belong to the Commission in Higher Education, or the CHED. That is the case of the Philippines. And both agencies really opted to use blended learning. And we are advised to make our modules. In the case of tertiary education teachers like us, college teachers, it's somewhat more easier on our part because we already have our teaching materials available. What we need to do is just to convert it to a modular type of instruction material. But in the case of those teachers teaching in the secondary and elementary education, it is more challenging because there are challenges of books before that. This is a challenge for teachers in my country. And then much more that they are compelled to make the module. The problem that we encountered is the availability of papers. The printing materials, the printing machine, the machinery. So the module was made by batch, by quarter. So there are 4 quarters in a year, and the teachers are really working hard trying to make these modules. And when it is an emergency situation, the quality of the instruction material also sacrificed. So the teachers, when we interview them, they said that some of the materials really are not checked. They are really not content validated. So some of the contents are actually copy pasted from certain materials. It's not well checked. Okay, so they really have a problem on that aspect. So module making became a challenge, as well as the challenges in distribution. In my case, I'm teaching in college. We really need to distribute the modules to the students. And what we did is that we assigned students by batch to come to school so that they can receive the modules. And we also opened our learning management system, and we use the different platforms like Zoom and also Google Meet for our online classes. But sad to say, in the Philippines, it is a common situation that we have problems with internet connectivity, especially for those students who are living in provinces. And in my institution, we are catering such students who are living in provinces, and they have a problem with connectivity with the internet connection. And so we really have to adjust on that situation. In the case of those teachers teaching in the secondary and elementary education, they required parents to come to school and get the modules so that they can distribute it. The problem here is that they also encounter with fear, because during this time, swab tests is still not available. In the Philippines, they have a minimal number of swab tests. And so people are fearing that they could contract the virus. And during that time, especially going to the groceries, we are really required to wear our gloves. So if you can see in the picture, one of the teachers wearing a glove aside from the face mask. Then after that, they're also required to wear face shields. This is the first month, actually, the distribution. This happened in June. And then the online classes. If you notice in the picture, teachers are also wearing face shields. So this is the face shield that I'm talking about. And the challenge there is connectivity, the internet availability. So the internet companies in our country really opted to boost their signal, and so that we can really provide our students the kind of instruction that we can give to them, the instruction that at least can compensate on what is lacking based on the situation. And also in the secondary and elementary education, some teachers opted to use the television. So there are lessons in televisions. Since majority of Filipinos own television sets, so the teachers in the Department of Education really gave their somewhat a different side of teaching, like a host, like a TV host. So they are teaching in televisions, and also radio in some parts. Because in the 70s and 80s, it is very common in the Philippines to have educational shows in radio. And then eventually in the 90s, we have educational shows in television. So it is somewhat kind of a retrospect on what is happening before. So we just tried to rebirth a renaissance of the television shows with educational topics and all about certain subjects. And parents became the strong support for education. That's true, because for the Department of Education in the secondary and elementary education, since everything is pure modular and some supports are in televisions, parents became one of the factors in really fulfilling their goal to make sure that the children are still learning at home. But it is also have a setback based on our interviews with teachers, that there are some parents who really opted not to help their children. Some have they have they were not a graduate of secondary education, especially to those impoverished areas. So teachers really need to do tutorials going once a week to the students, because the parents could not fulfill the task because they themselves are challenged educationally. So teachers need to step up on that aspect. Challenges faced in education. We are combating a different kind of work stress. Yes, teaching is somewhat stressful, but this time around during the pandemic, it is a different kind of stress. We are facing a screen. We are teaching on a screen. Sometimes students are unresponsive, and you really need to motivate them, invigorate them during the discussion, because they themselves are so stressed out with what is happening. And you are dealing with your own stress, and you're helping students to cope up as well. It's a different kind of stress, work stress. And you are always staying at home. Like in my case, I'm alone at home, so I'm facing all this alone. Okay, so it is quite tasky in my part to really face the online class. And connectivity, as what I've said earlier, became a problem. Online connections, we have an internet problem. I guess in some parts of the world also has this problem. And if you opted to do online classes, this can be a challenge in our part, since we have a problem with the internet connection. And assessment became a challenge as well. When we interviewed teachers, they said that there are issues of cheating. Plagiarism became an issue because students submit papers, but they use online, although plagiarism is also a problem during face-to-face classes. But in this case, it's more rampant. And unacceptable excuses. Some students use the lockdowns, the mandatory quarantines for those who were exposed as an excuse, knowing that we are only using online classes. We faced all this during this crisis. And unfinished learning materials. The availability of the modules. In depth ed, they faced a crisis of paper, the availability of paper to print these modules. In our case, is we are facing a problem with printing machines, because printing machines drop down, and we need to order them and ship them, and shipping became a problem as well, because it will take months because of the lockdowns and the protocols that we are following. And it is a rushed learning contents. So when it is rushed, of course, quality is sacrificed. And some institutions really copy-pasted some of the contents, because that's the only resort you can do with a limited time that was given to make these modules. And parents as well became a factor, because some modules are answered by parents. Okay? Since and teachers have really seen this as a problem. But what are the valuable lessons during the crisis? What are the lessons that these teachers have realized during the pandemic, during the lockdowns? What have they learned? Their insights on this. So when we interviewed them, most of them said that death is really inevitable. Many of those who have interviewed have lost a loved one in COVID-19. Based on my experience, I lost my grandmother. She's 97, and she died of COVID-19 because she was exposed to my uncle who contracted the virus. And death is inevitable. We've seen people that we knew died of COVID-19. Some of our students that we knew contracted the virus, and they have pre-existing medical conditions, and they lost the battle with COVID-19. Some teachers also realized the value of money, the importance of having a saving, time, the value of time, saving, and the importance of having an emergency fund for crisis like this. The importance of health. Yeah, I have shown my picture. Please allow me to share that as well. I've shared my picture. This picture actually in the left side of my comparison, myself, was the Eurasia Research Conference in 2019. And I was, what, in terms of pounds, I was like 150, I think, 170. In kilos, I am 97, yeah, 97. Do add up the math. So 97 kilos. And by June 9 of 2020, during the lockdown, I opted to make a shift, and I need to be healthy, because that's one of the things that is a factor for you to survive COVID-19. You really need to be healthy. So I shred all those fats and really live healthy, exercise. And right now I am going 60 kilos. So I lost all those kilos and those pounds for health purposes. Yeah, for health purposes, so that I can be able to survive if ever I'll be contracting the virus. And then we found faith. They found faith, spirituality, and hope amidst all this situation. I found this hope because, to be honest with you, if I may share, I was exposed by a positive individual 5 times. I was declared a person under monitoring for 5 times, COVID-19. Yeah, and in the 5th time, I was swab tested because the case is so severe that I really need to be swab tested. And, you know, faith of God, by the grace of God, I got negative. And right now, I've already finished my vaccination. I got my 2nd dose last week, and I mean my first dose last week, and 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, and then actually during this conference, this is actually my schedule for my 2nd dose, and my case is a bit different because I have a pre-existing condition that I really could not share, and I was advised to stay in the hospital for during that duration. Actually, this time when this will be aired in our conference, I'll be in the hospital, and yeah, and waiting for my 2nd dose of vaccine. And there's hope. There's always hope, and we always have that hope. The Filipinos are known to be individuals who always smile, who always has hope in their hearts, and that's why we are known to be so resilient amidst all the odds. Yeah, we survive and we fight. And the importance of positive optimism. This was coined by one of the participants in our research, wherein he mentioned that we need to have positive optimism. To be optimistic is sometimes you would think negatively. You would always say, oh, at least I don't have the virus, so it is being optimistic. But positive optimism is showing positivity in life, showing positivity to people, helping people. During the time of the pandemic, people became very helpful to each other. We have people donating food to those individuals who really could not afford it, who lost their jobs. In my case, when our salary was cut to half of the monthly compensations that we have, some people are really helping out, helping each other. Okay, so that's how we show positive optimism. And then there's hope. We have the vaccine already. The inoculation is ongoing. It is pretty good that we have this opportunity that we can be protected, at least in a certain percentage from the virus, avoiding hospitalization. So this hope gives us that strong feeling that all this will end at a certain point, that we can see each other face to face, that we can talk to each other, that we can interact with each other face to face. And this is our way to survive. From the picture, we saw this woman taking off her mask, and some people who are now traveling. I love to travel, and this really is more challenging in my part to stay home, you know, to wait it out until it will end. And it's been more than a year, and there is that optimism that we will survive all this. All this will just end. And tomorrow, yeah, we will win coronavirus. We will win. And we will be able to emerge once again as a global nation wherein we survive this pandemic. And so that ends my presentation. I hope you have, in a way, been able to have learned something out from it. Although it is so simple in my perspective, but I know there's something there. There's something that we can appreciate in a small way. And I thank you for the time, for this opportunity. Thank you, Eurasia. Thank you, Dr. Charles, for this opportunity. And hope to see you in some of the conferences of Eurasia in the future, face to face. Thank you, everybody. God bless.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joes, for your wonderful video presentation. Also, if anybody has any question, they can just put it in the chat box and the speaker will try to answer you there. So now we have Dr. Kanaya presentation with us. So we'll be playing that.
The orphans in the deep south of Thailand. I am Kalaya Daraha from Civic Women and the Coordination Center for Children and Women in the southern border provinces, Thailand. I am the former president, social work curriculum at Prince of Songkla University. Okay. Coronavirus Thailand, in the world countries, Thailand, coronavirus cases 4695207 days 32995 recover 4649509. You see the number is very very high. Post-COVID affected the orphans about health, 10.5 million children lost a parent or caregiver because of COVID-19 in Southeast Asia and Africa suffer the greatest rate of losses, which one every 50 children affected compared with 1 out of 150 children, the Americas, according to the research letter published in JAMA Pediatrics. Okay, yes, you see, post-COVID children in countries with lower vaccination rates and higher fertility rates were more likely affected. The numbers take account of deaths that occur from January 2020 to May 2022 and were produced through the collaboration models at the World Health Organization, the World Bank, the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, and Imperial College London. Okay, lead author Susan says, before this, okay, you're not cut about this. Lead author Susan Harris, a former CDC epidemic who is now director, say that's sobering, and urge the world leads to prioritize often. It's affect economy, education, and mental health support. Post-COVID affect the orphans about how twin sister Tipti and Perry, who lost both their parents due to the COVID-19 coronavirus, play with their toys at a relative's home in Bhopal, India, for millions of children who became orphans due to COVID-19. Their lives post-pandemic will be anything but normal. You see, because the coronavirus affect the orphans very, very hard. They get the mental health too. You see, they play with the toys. So sorry when I see in Thailand also, the development in Thailand, they bring the volunteer social work to how the people who affected the coronavirus, for example, the orphans too, to help the orphans too. The developing the two capacity of the volunteer social work network, that the part of competence and model development projects, social care for everybody, for the people who affected the COVID-19, and empowering communities, for example, for community-based, strengthening communities to monitor and take care of social arrangement for patients and those affected from the spread of COVID-19 due to the situation. Spread of COVID-19 affected their work. In Thailand, they have the volunteer social work to help the people who affected the coronavirus 19. Also the volunteer too, helping the volunteers too. Outbreaks during the second, third, and fourth wave of outbreaks. The social workers, I am the social worker too in Thailand because I finished social work. The social workers are volunteers to provide care and assistance. The social continually in cooperation with the Quality Development Foundation Labor Life until the fourth wave of the outbreak has been occurred. The coordinate referrals and assistance to access services, treatment, and going social assistance to 2,231 cases. Social worker, volunteer, is very important, it's very beneficial in Thailand. You see, but it is Thai language. May I interpret for you? Be healthy and safe from COVID. You see, in this, it's very important because empowerment everybody to be healthy and strong health. You see, the volunteer and the medicine and the medical care collaborate together to help the people who affected the violence, who affected the COVID-19. You see, to help in the community, to help everywhere. Okay, you see respiratory clinics in Pathum Thani province to help the people who affected from coronavirus 19. The development, the capacity of volunteer social work. You see, capacity of the volunteer social work network. There was volunteer taxi. You see, in Thailand they have a taxi. No taxi in COVID-19. You see, but Thailand construct a volunteer taxi project for COVID-19 patient. He picked up service COVID-19 patient who returned home after the treater nurses are sold, but they don't have a means of transport. They have no transport because everybody is afraid of COVID-19, you know, and cannot use public transport. Organizing a volunteer taxi service emphasizing preventive measure against COVID-19, the whole set of protections against infection, hand sanitizer, mask, and blocking the scene inside the taxi. You know, taxi volunteer is very important people for Thailand in the situation. Develop a model for empowering communities to have system of social surveillance and take care of those affected the economic and social impact from the spread of COVID-19. You know, in Thailand, construct the volunteer for helping the communities empower, because you know, in Thailand or every country in the world, I know that it's very dangerous in this situation. Yeah, you see, taxi volunteer is very important for people to help the patient to go back home and take care in everything. I think clap your hands to taxi driver in Thailand or everybody in the world to assist the people who affected the coronavirus 19. You see, he must wear PPE, PPE suit. He must be aware in everything, but he has the good health to assist the people who affected the COVID-19. You see, in Thammasat, the field hospital, the first hospital in the world, I think the hospital field in Thailand, because you know, taxi he is the volunteer too. The development of capacity of the volunteer social work, the capacity of the volunteer social work network. You know, social work is very important work to help the people, not only the medical or not only the nurses, but the social work, how the people, how the communities, how the people who affected the COVID-19. The scholars, you know, the scholar, for example, I am the scholar too, and Thammasat University. Many the scholars have served to raise awareness of situation and preparedness at the community level to prepare to face the incident. The project organizers training for development of speakers. The process community leaders must be called process the community leaders, because community leaders is very important in the communities to help the people who affected the COVID-19. Insurance supervision and management social for those affected by the pandemic. COVID-19, the community can be facilitated, set up a platform of prepare incident, because they have the volunteer in communities. Social work train the volunteer to be strong to help the people who affected the coronavirus 19. You see, the scholars in Thammasat University train the community to be strong to help the people in communities who affected the coronavirus 19. You see, the volunteer, they are the volunteers. Okay, you see in the picture, in the photo, there is Professor Rapipan Kamhom. She is the president of social work in Thailand. You see, she and the colleagues train the communities to be strong in helping the people who affected the coronavirus 19. You see, everybody, the volunteer helping the orphans in everywhere in Thailand. You see, UNICEF is the famous organization to help the people, to help every child in Thailand and the deep south of Thailand. Fight impacts COVID-19. COVID-19 in Thailand, children may not be the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, but this health emergency has been a crisis for children. The impact of the pandemic on their well-being may be lifelong and most damaging to those already disadvantaged, the vulnerable situation. From the UNICEF, a new summary, the socio-economic impact of COVID-19 on children. The research found that children were impacted in five key areas. Five impact. You see, five impact. What are these? Poor health, because they're not a good health, you know. Child safety risk, because they lack of parents. Their parents die. Risk in poverty, because they have no parent. They risk in poverty. About mental health, they got mental health. And learning tools, they have no learning tool. Because five is a very important five impact of COVID-19 in Thailand. Not only the orphans, everybody in Thailand or in the world, I think so. But the child is very important person. The child must have the parents, must have the people who take care of them. But UNICEF, the UNICEF assists them. Five impact, for example, children made up 10 to 25% of all non-infection on average in the third wave April September 2021. Around 60% of low income, risk of poverty, poor health, nutrition, and you know, in the five chart I mentioned for you, because I explained about it, because it's the five chart. I explained before this. You see, UNICEF look after the children in the communities and everywhere in Thailand. You see, it had the mask for the children. COVID-19 affected children in Thailand. COVID-19 affected children around 142,872 in Thailand, and it found 80% in southern border provinces in Thailand. You know, southern border, for example, Pattani, Yala, Narathiwat, and Satun. Yeah, in southern border province of Thailand, in vulnerable groups and underprivileged, more than 370 orphans, their parents died from COVID-19. You know, many orphans in the deep south of Thailand. The Ministry of Social Development and Human Security support the welfare, the budget who look after the orphans. It is the model one house, one hospital. You know, in Thailand, it has one house and one hospital to rehabilitate and empower the orphan who affected by COVID-19. Around 1,600 children and the ministry work with the parents, the school, and children and family homes, and train the teachers to rehabilitate the student or the orphan who affected the coronavirus 19, because they got mental health. I am here because I am the at the Coordination Center for Children and Women in southern border provinces. It collaborates with the private sector and the government sector. Giving PPE and grave clothes to Pattani Hospital because I donate in the time of the crisis because Pattani has the peak in the coronavirus in the second in Thailand. I donate from everywhere in Thailand to get PPE, to get about medicine, clothes, everything for Pattani Hospital. CCWE Coordination Center from Children and Women and Look Rien Group visit the case mother died from COVID-19 because they are orphans. You see, UNICEF donate the mask for field hospital. This in the deep south, you know, in Islamic in organization because it's Islamic organization in the deep south of Thailand get 2,000 baht and in every case who affected the coronavirus 19. The Central Islam Pattani assist 2,000 baht per case in the case die of coronavirus. UNICEF get the magic box for the orphans, for the students, for the children in the deep south of Thailand. You know, about 1,000 sets of magic box are being delivered to families with young children under 6 years old in Thai and migrant communities in Ari Samut Prakan and in the deep south of Thailand. UNICEF Magic Box bring joy and learning of young children affected by COVID-19 because the children got the mental health or the children are the orphans. UNICEF Magic Box brings joy and learning for young children affected by COVID-19 because many of them are the orphans. Yatim, you know Yatim is the means of orphan. Pattani, Yala, Narathiwat, and Songkhla donate the scholarship for the children who affected the COVID-19 or who are the orphans because everybody, many of them donate. You see, zakat for the orphan. Zakat in Islamic religion, it has the zakat. Zakat for the orphan who affected the COVID-19 and zakat for the orphan who is a vulnerable group, who are poor. And I donate and my family, and I think many of them donate about for the zakat for the orphan who affected by COVID-19. Thank you. Yeah. It's very important because in the deep south of Thailand there are many orphans, you know, because they lack of budget to study, they lack of everything, yeah, and they lack of parents too to help them. But the social worker and communities and the Islamic organization or coordination center for the children and women in the deep south and another organization help them to be good citizens and empower them many times. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalaya, for your wonderful video presentation. Ma'am, would you like to add something here? Dr. Kalaya, can you hear us? Ma'am, you need to unmute yourself.
Again, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, because I think in Thailand has many orphans. In the deep south, many orphans. Yeah, zakat is to help them. Thank you.
You're
To
most
collaborate
welcome.
together. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
You're most welcome, ma'am. Also, if anybody has any questions, they can just put it in the chat box and the speaker will try to answer you there. Moving ahead to the conference. I welcome the listener of the day, Blessing Osikor, International Language Tutor, Jobston Energy Limited, Nigeria. So today, first presenter of the day is PCAM, Thutran, School of Education, Can Tho University, Vietnam. Her topic is design and apply a scale of competence to apply interdisciplinary integrated knowledge into practice for physics pedagogical students to meet the new general education program in 2008. You may also read the abstract. And now we'll just see the video presentation.
My name is Trần Thị Kiểm Thu. I'm from School of Education, Cần Thơ University, Vietnam. My title, Design and Apply a Scale of Competency to Apply Interdisciplinary Integrated Knowledge into Practice for Physics Pedagogical Students to meet the new General Education Program in 2018. Chapter of article, but there are three parts. Introduction. In Vietnam, we teaching focus on the ability to apply knowledge in professional practice. And focusing on developing the capacity of learner. Natural science education such as biology, sport, chemistry, or physics. We apply knowledge and skill to solve problems in life. In 2022, my study about fostering student competency to apply interdisciplinary integrated knowledge into practice. Teaching general physics, nuclear physics on direction to developing the ability to apply interdisciplinary integrated knowledge of physics, pedagogical physics, contributing to forest integrated teaching capacity of students in the 2018 high school physics teacher training program that Vietnam is onto for. Research content include overview and research resource of the as is foreign study and study in Vietnam. Research on teaching general physics toward the development of professional competency. There are three levels. Sorry, there are five levels. Research on teaching general physics toward professional capacity development in the country. That to teaching is progressive. Research question. A, B, C, and D. Competency is abilities, subjective or natural condition available to perform an activity. Competencies are important skill to perform a job in the profession. Competency is a combination of available learning skill as well as a learning willingness to solve problems that arise and to act responsibility and creativity to apply a solution. And that is defines the interactive question is how is the structure of interacting competency of physics, pedagogical physics student determine. That's the criteria or behavioral expression of student. Question 2. research method analyze the state of capacity building to apply interdisciplinary interest knowledge into practice. Care of competency to apply knowledge integrate knowledge into practice of physics pedagogical students. Care for level. And they are practicing general physics. Research of interviewing student and teacher. X-ray and X-ray imaging. This is brilliant. Activity 1. Question 1. Question 1. Choose the correct option from the following options. Question 2. The lecturer will ask student. Activity 2. Student work group can work to find the answer to the question. Answer of question. Detail activity. Is knowledge. And this is very simple. Barium. This is chemical and biology. Man, overcoming the current limitation of the current program. For students of physics pedagogy, the topic contributes to foreign student knowledge of X-ray with the content integrating of natural science, catching up with the education trend of Vietnam following the new general education program in 2018. Experience. The first time, there are 4 classes. Second time, there are 8 classes. Table test results for experimental class and regular class. Conclusion and recommendation. Developing the general physics program for physics pedagogical students in the direction of development the ability to apply integrate knowledge into practice in pedagogical faculties and universities. Thank you.
Thank you, Thike ma'am, for your wonderful video presentation. Would you like to add something, ma'am? You need to unmute yourself. Yeah. Yes. Would you like to add something? Yeah, you're most welcome. All right, if anybody has any question, they can just put it in the chat box and the speaker will try to answer you there. Moving ahead with the conference. Next up, we have our next presenter, Dew Asian Perihatin, Faculty of Education, Indonesian International Islamic University, Depok, Indonesia. Her topic is an exploration of students' mothers' coping behavior in dealing with study stress at UI. You may also read the abstract. All right, Dew ma'am, you can now present your. Dew ma'am, can you hear us? Yes. Okay, might be she's facing some glitches. Do ma'am, can you hear us? All right, then we'll just quickly go ahead. Next up, we have our next presenter of the day, Adam, Faculty of Arts, University of Warmia and Missouri, Poland. His topic is digital technologies in teaching conducting. Let's just see the video presentation.
Technology influences many aspects of life in our society, improving people's work, development, and activity. The increased use of digital technologies in music, e.g. by composers and arrangers of electroacoustic and electronic music, point to them as promising methods for a significant didactic improvement, if used correctly. Looking at widespread technological progress in music compared to one specific category of musicians, the symphonic and choir conductors, it would seem this group of artists has been, in a way, forgotten or left behind as far as teaching of the art of conducting in academic settings is concerned. The present paper endeavors to solve problems encountered by lecturers aiming to improve the training of conductors, as well as by young adepts striving to understand the art of conducting. The digital baton. An electronic device called the digital baton, used for measuring movements when conducting, was a project initiated at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Laboratories in the early 90s. The baton was constructed using built-in motion sensors sending MIDI, musical instrument digital interface, signals to a computer. MIDI is both a standard and a system commonly used in music. It contains a set of commands, an interface, and software allowing it to serve as a protocol for connecting computers and electronic instruments. As indicated above, the standards enable two-way communication and interpretation of signals between devices made by different producers. It does not define the quality of sound in the musical instruments being reproduced, but only delivers and reissue digital data in the form of event messages. A computer fitted with the digital baton was also equipped with dedicated software, which interpreted motion and generated sound, enabling the whole device to create sound from movement. Apart from a teaching aid for conducting, it was also considered as an instrument in its own right, in the form of a MIDI controller used in sound design. The digital technology available in the 90s precluded significant miniaturization of the electronic components used in the prototype. At that time, the device was an innovative proof of concept, but in practice, it proved unwieldy, large, heavy, and additionally encumbered by cables connecting it to the power and the computer. All of those drawbacks prevented the concept from further development. Kinect. The Kinect motion sensor, which was made popular by games for the Xbox console, is also often used as a music controller, thanks to its ability to map the musician's motions. When used for teaching conducting, the device records the movements of the conducting person through its internal cameras, using analyzing of pre-programmed motions, recognized in real time by its software. Kinect then sends event messages about the motion to a computer or another digital device, serving as a MIDI controller interpreting input data. Effective use of Kinect in teaching conducting relies on third-party software installed in the system. The software includes various digital instruments which can mimic traditional instruments with an acceptable fidelity and reproduce the source of the sound in 3 dimensions. Another feature needed in the software suite is a loudness interpreter, allowing for an appropriate timbre and articulation of virtual instrument-generated sound when interpreting the motions of the conductor. The sensor's technical specifications and the quality of cameras used in Kinect do not allow for detecting very minute and subtle movements of the conducting person, e.g. delicate finger motions. This device may also encounter problems with interpreting very complex motions, as well as with integrating different motions and interpreting them correctly in the context. Specific to a conductor's work, the number of programs to be installed and the question of their mutual compatibility can multiply problems both pertaining to computer science and to the music, which often elude solving. In addition, many programs operating in real time are quite demanding on the computer and so require a device with very high specifications in order to be stable. Taking all of these difficulties under consideration, the author of the present paper decided to design and present an original system for high-quality image capture and motion analysis, which creates a virtual figure of a conductor and generates advanced quality sound in real time by using audio recordings especially made for this purpose. The original system, the hardware and software system, more specialized than Kinect, presented here as original work, utilizes electronic devices commonly found in the home to capture and interpret motion. The system operation relies on software installed on a computer and another program installed on a smartphone capable of video recording. The setup is simple. The conducting person stands in front of the computer's camera, while the smartphone camera is placed to the side at an angle of 90 degrees to the direction the computer's camera is facing. The combined view of the two cameras enables the construction of a three-dimensional image of the conductor's figure. Before the student attempts to conduct a given piece, the instructor should record their own figure for the piece and save it as a template in the software to be compared to the motions of the trainees. Performing the piece by the instructor several times in different styles can create a sort of database of varied properties of the templates, allowing students to adopt various interpretations during their performance. The system presented in Figure 1 is fully automated, which means that if the laptop is equipped with a low-quality camera or the desktop computer is not equipped with the camera, any external camera connected to with a USB port can serve this purpose. In the case of the smartphone, the camera installed in the back of the device usually has much better parameters than the one mounted on the screen side, selfie camera. In both cases, the software allows for free configuration and rerouting signal from any camera as required. The new system of devices and software offers the following advantages for the work of the conductor: precise and detailed movement analysis, score display and scrolling based on the conductor's movements, highlight line display indicating the place in the score being replayed, tracking lines display indicating the motions of the conductor's hand, points grid display allowing the learner to notice any of the errors, instructor template recording and learner movement analysis based on a large number of varied, digitally generated three-dimensional figures to choose from, learner error history allowing the instructor to quickly analyze and identify performance problem of the learner, adaptive time stretching of scholar replay thanks to recording prepared in a special audio system capable of real-time processing by phrase samplers, VariPhrase, utilizing a software-enabled time stretching function, tempo, significant changes in tempo controlled by the conductor's movement without a change in pitch. VariPhrase uses a function of compression or delay compensation, which enables lengthening or shortening of the sound duration, decreasing or increasing tempo, without a change in pitch, the key. Additionally, an intentional change in the key of piece recorded in the audio format does not influence the duration of individual notes, preserving the overall duration of the piece. The purpose for using such a system in teaching conducting is to create a set of templates and gestures associated with a given musical piece. The instructor performs at least one correct conducting of the piece, while recording their movements as the piece is replayed during the class. Subsequently, students practice conducting the piece at home with the system being discussed, which gives them the opportunity to compare their own movements with the template prepared by the instructor. If the movements made by the students are incorrect, in example, do not match the template, the program stops the music and highlights in red the gestures requiring correction. The software can also precisely guide the positioning of the body, arm, hand, and fingers by using slow motion function while replaying the template, allowing the students to follow and to recreate it. The system possesses a function whose working name is humanizer, allowing for certain departures from the template by the participants of conducting class. This function, enabled and calibrated by the lecturer or the students, allows for individuality of the learner's motions, so that they do not become mere copies of the instructor. It is possible to specify what types of gestures, movements, and departures from the norm will be accepted by the teacher and marked as correct by the system, by adjusting a percentage value on the tolerance of departure. Concluding, the system presented herein enables going beyond the schematic teaching of conducting. It is not uncommon for a student's conductor practicing with accompaniment or with a lecturer to borrow the characters of their performance, which can become ingrained in the young person conducting habits. In addition, conducting adapts While studying at home or recorded pieces downloaded from the internet can become accustomed to a given performance, for example, its tempo, articulation, and dynamics, and surrender their own interpretation to the recording. The present system allows what was impossible so far, namely presenting a personal vision of varying musical phrases, depend on the movements of the conductor. From the conductor's point of view, the system enables individual performance and interpretation of musical piece originating in various periods, genres, and styles, while additionally facilitating and accelerating the work of instructors in academic settings, as well as that of students practicing and developing their skills at home.
Thank you so much, Adam, sir, for your wonderful video presentation. Would you like to add something?
Hello, all fellowship. I would like to thank you for all participants to listen to my presentation. I'm really glad I have finally chance to share with you. Whole project is still in progress. The scientific groups on the University of Birmingham are working on it. So I hope to share with you new information, more updates in the nearest future. I guess it's a huge change for educational progress and quality for students whose the main purpose is to learn conducting. So kind of milestone. Thank you all.
All right, thank you so much. And also, if anybody has any questions, please just put it in the chat box and the speaker will try to answer you there. Now, just moving ahead with the conference. Today, we have the last presenter of the day, Charit Katapan, Graduate Education, Sharon Last School of Education, Augustana University, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, USA. His topic is the exploration of students' perspective, utilization, and perception of lecture capture in the online classes. Charit, sir, you can now just present your presentation.
Thank you. Do you have the poster I sent you? Can you put it up, please?
Yeah, sure.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Nikki or Sharat Karapan. Originally, I came from Thailand, but I grew up and spent most of my time in the US. Until the host can put up the my poster, just a brief information about this project. This is it's going to be a brief presentation because it's just a small project that my colleague and I put together. After the COVID, okay, we wanted to find out what is the rate and how do students use lecture capture. It's come in place to replace the lecture, traditional lecture, or in-class activity or in-class information that we pass on to the students. So now, come to look at it, we want to find out, does it work? Do they use it? Do they really, pay close attention to it? Or did they just leave it in the background and move on? So we use about 85 students in this survey, and we found out that majority of them use it. They use both reading materials that we provided, that is PowerPoint, textbook, or any other reading materials like the articles, along with the lecture capture video clips that we put up together. The instructor put up, okay? Not we, but the instructor. So about 63 or 64% of students use it. And it's really impressive. Why? Because now the students are getting the same information they're supposed to get in the classroom. And do they use external resources when we put something like this, put the lecture capture in the classroom through at the LMS? For our LMS, we use Canvas. Once we put the lecture capture up, they don't have to go out to YouTube, to Khan Academy to Vimeo or lynda.com to find out about their content, because we're providing the verified and legit, credible resources for them to use. Many of them said, no, they don't go out to look for something else outside, because YouTube, anybody can put anything up. And when we talk about the, Khan Academy, it's somewhat verified, but YouTube, the students use YouTube mostly. And now what happened when they go and find something, is that really verified? Is that correct? Is that credible? So that is the main concern. Once we put up the lecture capture, that problem has been phased out. Now, does it really increase the satisfied in the online class? These questions come in place because many students said, you know what, I paid tuition, I paid for the class, but you asked me to read only. Did you ask me to read the materials that you gave me and take the quiz, complete the discussion and take the test, or submit the assignment? And what do you do besides grading? Okay, that is not how I paid for the school to teach me. So once we put up the lecture capture video clips, they said they're satisfied. You see in the percent right there, the rate of very satisfied and satisfied stay at 50 and 18. So that's mean almost 70% of the students, and more than 70%, actually 18 and 54, say that they love the class. That is really something we need to look at. So once we get into the question of the enrollment, once we have lecture capture, we provide them the resources for them to use in the classroom. In the online class, we are talking about the asynchronous. That means there's no in-class or no live meeting between teachers and student at all. If they were informed about the lecture capture, okay, that this class equipped with lecture capture, this section equipped with lecture capture, and you are going to have the video explanation from the instructor directly in the LMS. You don't have to go out and look for something else. Would you take this class? 94.919% of the students said, yes, I will enroll in this class. That means only 6% said no. No, in this case, maybe they don't care, or they prefer to go with the reading material. So 94, almost 95% said, yes, I will get into the class with lecture capture. Now, we have that the answer of they love the class with lecture capture. They use lecture capture to study. They use lecture capture to help them prepare for exam. Are they the multimedia learners? In this case, if you look at their learning style, okay, we have auditory, we have visual, and we have kinesthetic. So auditory come with lecture capture. Kinesthetic, they gotta do it on their own. And visual, they learn it by watching, right? So once we look at all of this information, all this aspect, and we look at it, we ask them, do you believe that multimedia online class can help you? And does it meet your learning expectation and help you understand the class contents better? Majority of them said agree and strongly agree. So that's mean, yes, they are visual learners. They are auditory learners. That means they love the video. That means they like to use a video lecture capture in the classroom. So how satisfied were them overall with the provided learning materials? Yes, they are really satisfied. 58, almost 60% said they are satisfied, and 20% said they are very satisfied. So that's mean lecture capture should be another key component in online asynchronous classes. And once we have lecture capture in online asynchronous classes, it can derive and be applied to other type of classes as well. If you look at the information or at the literature that's out there right now, it's pointing that lecture capture should be part of your online classes. Why? That's because people perceive and receive the information in different ways. Now, with different ways, you cannot just say, read the book or read the materials or look at the PowerPoint. We can't do that. That's why providing the students or the learners with the lecture capture can help accommodating all of these needs and cater to all of their learning preferences. Any questions? Any questions?
Thank you so much, Dr. Nikki, for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also, if anybody has any question, they can just put it in the chat box and the speaker will try to answer you there. All right, so that's the end of the conference. Thank you, everyone. With a great pleasure and enthusiasm, I would like to conclude that the conference was a great success. Many people have contributed in different ways to turn this event into a smoothly running conference with very interesting presentations. This conference has resulted in a good discussion and networking. I owe my gratitude to all the presenters and patient listeners, to the coordination and the whole staff of Eurasia Research for their constant support. I would also like to thank all the universities and institutes who have sponsored our participants and people who have directly or indirectly contributed in the smooth conduct of the conference. You can also check our upcoming conferences. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. See
Thank
you again
you.
next time.
Xin
Yeah.
cảm ơn. Xin cảm
Yeah.
ơn.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you all.
Thank you.
สวัสดีค่ะ in
Sawadee krap.
Thailand สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye bye. See you again next
Goodbye.
time.
Yes.
Have a great